The fall anime season has been rolling along over the past several weeks, and there are a couple new series that I've been enjoying. The one series that I've been pleasantly surprised by is The World's Finest Assassin. This anime is an adaptation of a light novel by Rui Tsukiyo. That author's name might ring a bell to some of you, as he is the creator of the infamous Redo of Healer, which also got an anime adaptation this year. Redo of Healer is one of the worst series of 2021, and I was very disappointed in what I saw. So when I heard that another one of his works was getting an anime treatment, I was more than a bit skeptical. When I first read the synopsis for the show, my first thought was that it seemed redundant. An assassin is betrayed and killed by the organization he works for, and is reborn into a family of noble assassins in a fantasy world by a goddess. I was initially thinking that making this story an isekai was unnecessary. Why not make it a straight fantasy series? While this show could probably work without being an isekai, it has a cool hook to it, and it does enough to differentiate itself from its contemporaries. In exchange for being reborn with his memories intact, the protagonist, Lou, must kill the hero by the time he turns 18 in order to save the other world. There are plenty of shows where the main character has to defeat the demon lord, but in this case the real threat is the hero, who is very powerful. One obvious thing that makes The World's Finest Assassin different from your typical isekai series is the character's background. The main character of most isekai series is usually a NEET or a shut-in who has done nothing with their life. They're typically very young, and usually their previous life is rarely referenced or has any impact on their story. Tsukiyo gives us a character that was an old man on the verge of retirement and already has a lifetime of experience as an assassin. Lou has already put the skills he's learned from years as an assassin to use multiple times while living in the fantasy world. This character definitely falls into the overpowered isekai protagonist category, but it isn't just for the sake of being a power fantasy anime, as Lou isn't some generic self-insert character. I won't claim that Lou is this overly complex or compelling character based off of the 5 episodes that are currently available, but he's certainly different from many isekai protagonists. He's smart, rational, and observant. Given his age before reincarnation, he's much more mature than most isekai protagonists, which I totally appreciate. Like a lot of shows in the genre, the world has some elements to it that are kind of video game-like. For example, every person is born with up to 5 skills at random. Before Lou is reincarnated, the goddess allows him to pick his own skills and attributes. I like that he doesn't go for the most powerful skills, but instead the ones that will help him prepare efficiently to kill the hero. Another thing that I like about this show so far is that we're seeing Lou put in the work to become strong enough to face someone who's even more OP than he is. Whether it's hunting or preparing a meal, everything Lou does is in service of completing the task given to him by the goddess. As the years pass, Lou continues to learn assassination and medical techniques from his father, and early on learns magic from an energetic girl named Dia Falcone. The scene where Dia was introduced was a memorable moment and a good way to close out the second episode. I like the way magic works in this series, or more specifically, how it's acquired. Spells appear in the form of symbols referred to as magic letters, as a revelation from God when they convert their mana to use a spell. The more spells they use, the more they will naturally learn. This is another aspect that is similar to a video game. Spells are activated using sets of magic words, and pronunciation can affect the accuracy of the spell. However, there are some limits to spell activation, which I won't spoil for those who haven't seen the show. It was quite entertaining to watch Lou and Dia figure out how to make their own spells. As absurd as it may seem for Lou to create stuff like rifles from a spell, at the very least the author establishes that he learned the building blocks to create spells. This series does a better job at introducing magic and making it interesting than another isekai series that premiered this season called The Faraway Paladin, which also uses words to cast magic. Anyway, Dia eventually bonds with Lou over their curiosity and love of magic. Dia, along with 2 other girls, one of which who hasn't been properly introduced yet, will become Lou's allies as shown in the beginning of the first episode. So far, there has been a few time jumps, and the beginning of the premiere episode takes place later on but shifts seamlessly to the time before Lou was reincarnated. The first episode was very engaging with smooth pacing and plenty of action. The opening action scene was cool and the animation was very slick. Judging off of that scene alone, Dia and another ally of Lou named Tart seem like they're going to be competent, and this won't be another useless harem situation. Unfortunately, the action scenes and animation aren't as good in subsequent episodes, but it's decent. There's a scene in episode 4 where Lou is fighting a pack of wolves and two of them lunge at him, which looked a little weird. Aside from that and the CG that's used for vehicles and carriages, the animation looked fine to me. Perhaps the most visually appealing part of the show is the opening at the start of each episode. This show's opening is so freaking stylish and the music is excellent. I haven't stopped listening to the opening song, Dark Seeks Light, since I first heard it. This opening immediately grabbed my attention and it's definitely one of the best of the season. All in all, World's Finest Assassin is shaping up to be a solid isekai series. If nothing else, the writing is definitely way better here than what I saw from the author with Redo of Healer. If you're looking for a new isekai series to watch, I recommend giving the show a couple episodes. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this series if you've seen it so far, and thank you guys for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.